96.1 FM. All right, then. So anytime you hear this tune, it's time to get into the world of surveying to find out what they do and the prospect of having the right things and the right perspective for national development. This is the benchmark from Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. It is a courtesy of the Association of Private Practicing Surveyors in Nigeria, the Lagos State chapter. And this recipe has been made possible by them so that every week we can have an interaction with you, especially those areas that are a bit confusing or complex for your understanding. And then you can also, tap into what they do and make good use of their services. It's nice to have you join us. My name is Victor Oteri. And for the past 3 weeks, we've been trying to identify their place in the built and the physical space. And today we are continuing that dialogue as we X-ray surveying and the construction industry. Right? For construction, there are lots of things that require the presence of surveyors, which most of us do ignore. But our guests have been taking us through that path in the past 2 weeks. But we'll continue that dialogue today. And also want to hear much more from you, especially on how you can really make good use of the services of surveyors. All right, so if you know that you've been having difficulties, or perhaps you didn't process your survey plan the right way, they say they can still bring some levels of remedy. So this program between now and 11 will be providing a solution capsule for you so that you can appreciate some of these things and then you can tap into its good use. All right, if you're ready for us, of course, we'll begin the conversation right now. My guest in the building is Surveyor Agu Ogona Roberts. He's the Publicity Secretary of the Association of Private Practicing Surveyors in Nigeria, Lagos State Chapter. Nice to have you in the building. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir. It's good to be back here.
Yeah, how are you doing?
I'm fine. Fine.
Compliment of the season to you.
Yes.
How did Christmas go, by the way?
Well, it was low-key, home alone.
But it went well.
Yes, it did.
Well, thank God that you were not surveying on that day. All right. Olubenga is National Publicity Secretary, absent. I'm sure you had a good Christmas.
Very well.
You did?
Yeah. To the glory of God.
Okay. I was thinking you guys are going to be good out of town, but you stayed back. Why is that?
Surveyors don't have holidays.
You mean it?
Sure.
Just like we broadcasters?
So we have some surveyors that are far away in the bush outside Lagos now.
So, but we can't say you're on essential duty now. How come?
Well,
it's essential.
It's essential duty because you need to meet up with deadlines.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's a holiday for surveyors.
So festivities or no festivities, you guys have to deliver.
I've lost count of so many January 1st that I have to be outside Lagos, far away in the bush.
You mean it?
Yeah, sure.
Doing your surveying work.
Sure.
So let's bring that home this morning because even as we speak right now, I know you guys have been carrying this advocacy to a heightened level, but yet we still have many that are yet to really understand what you do. So Olubenga Adams, just take us through, and for those who are listening to us right now, how can they really appreciate what surveyors do?
Thank you, Mr. Victor. We can only appreciate what surveyors do in this part of our own world if we do the right thing and make use of surveyor in every area of our lives. All these developed worlds and developing worlds, if you go to their countries and you see sanity, you see how things are, it's because they know the value of who a surveyor is. It's because they do their things with planning. They do their things looking at the conformity of what they have on the master plan, and they reciprocate it on their ground.
Right.
Every area, for every environment that you want sanity, you want things to be done the way it should be, you need the services of a surveyor.
Right. But considering that the number of surveyors that we have around, because I know that you guys have talked about this before, if we look at the totality of your numeric strength across Nigeria, it appears we do not have enough professionals in this regard, Ogona Roberts. Is that very correct?
Yes, it's correct because dead and alive, like we've always re-echoed, we are less than 6,000 dead and alive.
To a population of over 200 million.
Yes, over a population of 200 million. And then considering the areas of relevance of surveyors, every aspect of both physical development and planning of the country, we are still less than the number that is required.
Okay.
Yes.
And what is the association doing to, encourage more, to bring more qualified surveyors?
Sorry, if I can add to that, well, we're talking about registered surveyors, dead and alive 6,000.
Okay.
But let me quickly point out to us that we have categories of surveyors.
Okay.
Dead and alive, yes, we have student surveyors.
You mean it?
We have technologists. We have technicians. We have pupil surveyors. So look at it from this angle. If I'm a principal in my office and I have a project far away in Akwa Ibom, I don't have to be resident at Akwa Ibom for me to get it done. I may have two different projects ongoing simultaneously. I have people in my office that fall into the category I mentioned, whether as a pupil surveyor or as the technologies that can handle it.
So are you saying invariably that this figure might not be sufficient?
This figure might not be sufficient as at now.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean that surveyors does not have the human capability to still within the little things we are still doing in our environment for us not to have it done.
Okay, so even with these figures, you guys can still take care of all the surveying needs across Nigeria.
Sure.
Let's look at those needs now. And who would require the service of a surveyor? So let's break it down from there. Ogona Roberts?
Okay, first of all, anybody who is hoping to embark on any form of physical development requires...
Any form of physical development?
Yes, be it a residential building, be it roads, and, primarily the major clients for road constructions are government or multinationals, especially within their facilities. So if you intend to put up a building, if you intend to put up a road project, if you intend to maybe go into agriculture, you want to have a farm, yes, there's still the input of surveyors in agriculture.
All right. Okay, but is there a way that if anything goes wrong in a built environment, is there a way it can be traced to probably the default of a surveyor? Is that possible?
Yes, it's possible. It's possible. It's possible. Once you are able to detect what the fault is or the mistake is, you can tell who is responsible for it.
Okay, so for instance, if the survey plan is bad, or perhaps if the survey plan is faulty, is there anything that will show in the structure that's going to be built?
Definitely, to a certain extent.
To a certain extent?
To a certain extent.
Okay.
Look at it from this angle. If a surveyor carry out measurement on a particular land, and it says on that land what is there is a plot of land, and on site, the site is not up to that. If that survey plan is given to an architect to design, the architect will be designing based on the size that the surveyor has said is on the land on paper.
Right.
So when it is time for construction, the issue will now start. That's number one.
So it becomes a problem.
It becomes a problem. No, that's number one. Number two, if surveyor did not do a very good job, it can lead to litigation whereby there can be encroachment between the owner of the land and the adjoining properties.
Okay, all right. So that's something that one needs to take note of. All right, we'll still reflect a bit on that. Lagos Traffic Radio, 96.1 FM. Today we're X-raying, surveying, and the construction industry. And I've got two great minds in the building. Of course, Olubenga Adams, surveyor, is, of course, the National Publicity Secretary of ABSEN. So if you go across Nigeria today, it is his name that rings the bell in terms of being the spokesperson for the Association of Private Practicing Surveyors in Nigeria. And Ogona Robert Agu is also here with us. He's the Publicity Secretary of the Lagos State Chapter. We're going to take a short break right now for the shipping position. But when we return, we'll hear from you on 080-99-120-777. I've got my surveyors in the building. They're ready to offer you solutions. But we'll also be asking, if a building collapses, is there any way it can be traced to the work of the surveyor. More questions and, of course, more answers as well. A brief break. We'll be back.
This is Shipping Position, brought to you by Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. 34 ships laden with petroleum products, container, general cargo, food items, and others are expected at the Lagos Ports Complex today. The Nigerian Ports Authority (NPA) made this known in its publication Shipping Position. The publication said 26 of the ships contain frozen fish, INB, general cargo, PMS, AGO, bulk wheat, bulk sugar,